We're moving on with our program. We are doing our best to save time, but I hope you're enjoying yourselves. I have seen a few of you tweeting. I've seen a few of you posting on LinkedIn. I encourage you to do more. You never know. People will see you and know that you're here and hopefully continue to connect. Our next speaker goes by the name Mercy Ndegwa. Let me tell you a little bit about Mercy. She's a public policy director at East and Horn Africa at Facebook. Facebook is the place that the young people are not operating on anymore, but I am. Amos. Yes? In her current role, she is responsible for supporting and advising Facebook on policy and regulatory dynamics in the region, while also creating the opportunity to have a more inclusive, a more open, and safe and connected East Africa. She works with day-to-day management, relevant public policy interests, advocacy on topical issues in the digital space, and of course, building stakeholder networks, which is why this is a perfect forum for you to be joining us in, Mercy. And before joining Facebook, Mercy held various senior management positions. This is always important, so you know mutu amesoma, mutu amefanya kazi, Safaricom PLC, and of course the GSM associations, and her roles were also in the public policy and advisory and advocacy space. Mercy holds a master's in international business management, an MBA, and a bachelor's in education from the University of Nairobi. She has done other professional courses such as the Executive Master's Program in Public Policy at the Strathmore University as well. And besides her professional work, because she is a human being, she is a mother of 3 and a passionate advocate for the empowerment of children and women. Karibu sana, Mercy Ndegwa.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mercy, as you've been told, and I'm really, really humbled and honored to be before you this morning. Oh, it's actually afternoon. It was meant to be a morning session. To be addressing you about Meta and the work that we do. So Meta, I don't know how many of you are familiar with who Meta is. I know you saw some boxes coming in at the last minute. Anyone know who Meta is? When I hear people saying that, it's funny when I hear that. So people say former Facebook. It's not former anything. Meta is actually a new company brand name, and it's a brand name that we came up with, or rather has been in the works for a while, was launched in October of last year. And the reason why the company brand name was needed for us to have a proper brand, a rename of the company, was because we've previously been using the name Facebook, which is only but one part of the business, or the companies that Meta, the technologies that Meta actually has out in the world. It felt like it was not appropriate to continue calling ourselves the name of only one part of the business when there's a lot more that Meta has in terms of technologies and platforms, which include Facebook itself, Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp, which I hope at least you use at least one of them. For those who've said that there isn't much connection on Facebook, I'm surprised, because the statistics actually show us that about 9 to 10 million of you are logging in daily onto Facebook. And I think to a business person, those numbers should sound like they would be helpful in some way or form to your business. And we have just similarly as many number of users on Instagram, on WhatsApp, and on Messenger. I wanted to share a little bit because we have a video that will play soon as I'm done highlighting some things about what Meta is doing in supporting business. And that video will speak in more detail on my behalf on the things that I think will be important for you to pick out of this session. But what I needed to just flag in my opening remarks is that Meta cares about Africa very, very much so. I know this because I work there, having seen it, so I'm not preaching for the company. I'm telling you in practical terms. And I think a number of you, in fact, by a show of hands, are there any people in the room who have had any trainings on digital skills that were Meta-sponsored through our partners? Because we work very much with partners. Any businesses here that have gone through any digital skills training that are from Meta? And if you haven't, don't be shy if you haven't done it, it's fine, because today we actually launched a session, a training session again with Wild International, who we partner with, and they sit within the sandbox. And we have a booth at the back where you could register your business in case you want to be taken through the training. So Meta cares about business, and you might wonder why, because I've had a number of challenges being articulated upfront, which are very similar to some of the things that we have seen from a survey that we conducted with Genesis Analytics early last year, actually. specifically to understand SMBs and micro-enterprises and the kinds of challenges they have in adopting the use of social media to leverage on those tools to be better in terms of how they position their businesses online. And some of the findings that we had from that research included the fact that poor access to finance and finance solutions pretty much is a huge one that we hear businesses saying, and I think some of that has been articulated here this morning. Poor access to markets is another challenge that is a huge one for majority of businesses, especially when you're thinking about the season we've just come from the pandemic, and we're still sort of in it, but in a less severe form. Just being able to get your customers back or people who would use your services to access your services has been a challenge for most. Poor access to information, where do I get more information about the area I'm in, how do I improve on what I know in terms of resources and so on is a big challenge. And there being insufficient business resourcing. And I think some of that was articulated very well by the earlier panel, where you had experiences of people who have lost very good staff, for example, or lost opportunities, either because of the timing of the decision and so on. So some of these findings, fortunately, I will tell you, from the study that we had done, we confirmed that most of these challenges can actually be addressed by tech. And I think that is the beauty of the panel that you'll be hearing from this afternoon in the sessions that we'll have soon after my notes, that tech can provide you, at least can ease some of those struggles. If you think about, for example, the trainings I've spoken about, we have what we call Meta Boost, which is a wonderful program designed specifically for small and medium-sized businesses and micro-enterprises, actually, for those ones who are running a sole proprietorship, or you have a small entity. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a company the size of Kamal's as well, even though those would be good targets. So I'm talking really small businesses that are just starting out in terms of understanding, and don't mean starting out in terms of duration of the business, but trying to understand how to use digital more. We find that when these organizations or companies pick up digital tools through the trainings we offer, they're better able to learn the skills about how they can pitch their business better online, how they can reach new markets that were previously had no access to. So for example, you previously had a brick and mortar maybe store on the front of maybe Koinange Street. And then next thing you know, by going online, you're able to start even selling to customers as far as Kisumu, Rwanda, everywhere in the world. When I think about the number of users, I've spoken about the ones in Kenya being approximately 9 to 10 million. It's actually slightly more. This is statistics maybe from a year ago. I'm sure the recent numbers would be a little higher. But when you think about globally the number of users we have on our platform, because we don't call them customers, so users, people who come onto our platform every day to connect with one another and to share information, we are talking of about 3 billion users. Those potentially are a market that is addressable to you in one form or shape. And it's just a question of finding out how do you make sure that you are properly equipped with the right tools to be able to create content that will be catchy and attractive, whether you choose to use Facebook or Instagram or any of the other platforms, because all of them are digital and they would provide you with access. You understanding what platform gives you what niche is really important as well. So for example, Facebook and Instagram, Facebook is more of a social and community sort of like connection, a place for connecting communities. If you think about Instagram, for instance, in the way that people use it in Kenya, a lot of it not just connecting socially, a lot of businesses use Instagram to put out their products, to show a small video of how they're doing this and that, and that is how we see them using the platform here. In other places, it's different. It's different. Things work differently for different businesses. And when you think about the different platforms you have available to you, I think having a clear understanding of what works for which niche is really important for your business. What content works in which platform is also really important. Facebook is more pictorial. If you want to even go on a longer video, for instance, do an FB Live, you do that on FB. If you are doing something similar, wanting to pitch your business, do a campaign on Instagram, it wouldn't follow the same formats. And so understanding what the differences and nuances are is really critical for your business in just creating creative content. These tools that I'm talking about are available within the Meta Boost, which is a training we offer in partnership with Wild and together with Sandbox, who are hosting all of those entities. In addition, we have a very specially curated one that we call She Means Business, and She Means Business is specifically curated for or tailored for women in business. Again, we look at majority of the businesses that are not necessarily with access to, let me say, everyone can access those platforms. And the idea with She Means Business is that beyond what we would offer you in Meta Boost, We also support women with financial literacy skills, so we do more than just training you on how to use digital tools. We try to train you about how you can, financial literacy I think is a thing we've had many women complain about, challenges regarding how to navigate online spaces, how do you follow engagement with your community on your platform, how do you manage that? Sometimes it gets overwhelming. If you have a campaign you're running online, you have these lots of comments maybe coming through, you struggle with how to manage those. How do you manage engagement? How do you pick up on the metrics that you get from your engagement? Just now, Kingsley was speaking about data. Data is something that tech gives you easily. Are you able to actually filter out reports regarding how your campaign has run online? We provide you metrics like that, which makes it very easy to tell how many people have been reached by your ad, as an example, how many people actually engaged. You can see for yourself how many have written back to you regarding that, how many have actually closed, have you been able to close a deal with. It's very easy to tell that from the footprint you can have online. And so for us as a company, we are constantly investing in making sure that we are connecting with communities like yourselves. Being here today is part of that. We want to make sure that we are networking right so that we get the right partners on the ground who can help us to scale down the outreach and the knowledge around the use of tech tools across to the entire fraternity or community that you might have. We are constantly listening and learning and sharing with you as well, as I will be doing in the panel right after this. But listening is important for us because it informs how our users feel about the product. So I'm happy to hear the feedback about, for instance, if you're not using Facebook, why? Those kinds of challenges would be helpful to know. Is it something that we could do better or differently to improve on? So I'm being asked to cut short my remarks because I've taken quite a bit of time, but thanking you all for your and appreciating your understanding and your attention to me. I would love for you to now focus your eyes on the screen, on the video, and then we'll talk more when I join the panel later. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Adventures, we have faced a lot of challenges during this COVID. Cancellations has been a lot, and our business has reduced by around 90%. So only 10% of our business has been left because of lockdowns, people fearing to travel, curfews, cessation of movement to different places in and out of the country. That has affected us a lot. Before that, we used to have full offices every time, but after this now we have embraced working online, working from home, digitally working in shifts.
Millions of Kenyans come onto Facebook every day to connect with one another, with their families and friends and causes that matter to them. We realize that small businesses, particularly in this time, are struggling to be able to access or increase their global reach, or even to access new markets. And so Boost with Facebook program is one such program we have introduced to be able to partner with local organizations that help us to arm the small businesses with skills around using our platforms better.
We are very passionate and committed to helping entrepreneurs grow their businesses. At Wild International, I lead a team of amazing business coaches, strategy consultants, and we work with business owners and entrepreneurs every day to help them develop winning strategies, to implement ideas, to implement initiatives that can see them make progress in their businesses and can help them to be able to grow those businesses from one level to the next.
And for us as Facebook, we find that our mission as well as that of Wilds are aligned in regards to how we can support small businesses better. Wild International, for example, will provide skills over and above digital skills that we will partner with them for, but they will also provide a business with basic skills around how to run their business, for example, how to develop their mission, how to develop a strategy and operational management plan. And for us, those are important skills for a business to have a wholesome, to be well empowered to tackle business challenges.
So we've been teaching the small business owner on digital marketing, Mostly it's to demystify the whole concept of digital marketing to them, especially with Facebook, Instagram and WhatsApp. Teaching them strategy, things that they wouldn't normally know without the training.
What I liked about the training was that it was very practical and understandable for me as a small business. That despite the fact that at this point we're able to afford someone to do a digital media, if we didn't have that, I can still run our digital advertising as a business owner because it's not complex. It's a very simple process in regards to using Boost with Facebook. You really don't need to have extreme skills or have had a university degree.
Some of the things we were able to achieve with the trainings that we did with the Ministry of Tourism as well as the micro and small enterprises is to make sure that, number one, businesses that previously didn't know how to use online tools were skilled with that. Number two, they were able to, for example, develop a digital presence that previously they may not have had. Again, because I said a lot of businesses were operating offline more than they were doing online. We were able to provide them with tools, for example, to be able to continue communicating with their customers continuously so that the customer was not disconnected from them and they would continue to serve the customer in that way. And last but not least, to just be able to reach new markets, like I said, where people who previously have only targeted, for example, those who are in Kenya, now are able to start targeting businesses or new markets outside of the country.